All right, Padres get back to their winning ways. Maybe not the most memorable game that we've ever seen at Petco Park, unless you're some prepubescent teenager running around the outfield grass at Petco Park. But Padres did get back to winning. They'll play the San Francisco Giants coming up later on tonight. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Section 1904. It's Wednesday, August 20th. I'm Darren. He's John. How goes it?
Terrible, Darren. Really bad. This podcast could have been recorded earlier, but I wanted to go for a run because, as I mentioned on a previous episode, I spent some time in the ocean the last couple weeks and at some point turned an ankle.
Oh.
I've been really looking forward to that ankle being healthy enough to go for a run. Thought it was today. It was not. And you know what happens, Darren? The kinetic energy. When your ankle's not feeling right, you know what I do? I pull my calf muscle halfway through my run. So I limped back, groaning and cursing. I am very aware that the office I sit in is up like 18 steps from the first floor, and my ankle is sitting here just in agony as we sit.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, John. What are you doing? This is what my mother, who's a longtime emergency room nurse, she would immediately say, and what are you doing for this?
I did some stretching when I got back. Didn't stretch beforehand. Because as our buddy H.J. Preller once told me, stretching before you work out is a moron's job.
What?
He doesn't believe in stretching before you work out, just stretching after. He's got this whole theory about how it's this made-up thing. Anyway, he got in my head, and I didn't stretch beforehand, but I did stretch after, and my Theragun, the massage gun thing that my mom got me for Christmas a couple years ago that's been like sitting in a box somewhere, is currently on the charger, Darren. After we finish this podcast, I'm going to Theragun the hell out of my calf muscle.
Okay. No Advil? No ibuprofen?
I considered it. Not yet. We're going to hold off on that until it's needed.
No ice? I mean, ice does wonders for the human body.
Ice would have been smart. I do have some ice packs downstairs. Not at the moment. At the moment, I'm just waiting on that Theragun.
Okay, so like the Theragun that needs to be charged, do the ice packs need to be put in the freezer? Are you this unprepared?
No, I have a whole section of my freezer filled with ice packs, Darren. I have a small child. Ice packs are a necessity.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, how would you feel if someday, John, that small child was running around the field at Petco Park at the end of a Padres-Giants game?
Horrified.
I mean, have you seen some of these videos? I went to bed last night like, wow, security at Petco Park kind of rough on these young players. I saw lots of people commenting that this is what security should do. You never know. You never know what's going on with some of these people that run out there on the field. They might have a weapon. But then by the end of the night, by the time we all had gone to bed, I think we said, all right, that's probably the last. I woke up today, saw an Instagram post of this kid being taken off the field at Petco Park, and he looked like he was having the greatest day of his life.
Probably was. He got really close to Fernando Tatis Jr. He got heavily criticized by our buddy Mark Grant on live TV. I mean, I don't know. If I was a parent, like, I'm not saying you sit there and go, like, where have I gone wrong if your child does that, but you're sitting there probably watching them as they jump over the fence and go on the field, and you're like, oh, no.
You think so? You think parents must have been there? You think these are kids of age that parents must have been in attendance? They wouldn't be going to a baseball game on their own.
I don't think so. That looked like a kid who was,
I don't know,
12 maybe.
Same. I mean, I think if I was a parent, I'd be like, okay, listen, kids are stupid. I was a stupid kid, and stupid kids getting together do stupid things, and they make stupid decisions. And one of them probably goaded the kid into going and doing this, and it was a poor. But watching the kid's reaction as security is escorting him off the field after he has been tackled by 3 members of the security force, celebrating like he's Antonio Brown. It looked like Antonio Brown when he just quit football and was there with no shirt on, jumping up and down in the Jets end zone. You have to see this Instagram video of this kid. He's like, wow, this is an incredible moment for me. I'm being cheered and I'm celebrating with the crowd. I've just done something. I've accomplished something. I think that as a parent would really be concerning for me. Like that would be concerning that he's literally in custody and he's celebrating with the people out there in the seats in right field at Petco Park. That would be the more concerning part than the fact that this kid made a stupid decision, probably goaded on by his stupid friends.
I don't know. For the rest of his life, he's probably going to tell this story in bars and occasionally get free drinks for it. So
probably.
Good for him.
Yeah,
What a legend. One of the
guess.
security guys has been either played football at high school or even above, or had just really been working on his technique, because he went shoulder to that kid's midsection the exact way you're coached to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, this game was a snoozer, and this woke it up. Although I will say the reaction from some of the Padre players, Jason Adam, Luis Arai standing there on first base. Fernando Tatis just stood there like a statue. He wasn't interested.
He ignored him completely.
Completely. I'm sure there will be many, many tweets and, several hundred words somewhere dedicated to Fernando Tatis Jr.'s body language while this teenager was running around on the field. And now it's just some sort of statement about his overall struggles as a human. But, that's not the point. I guess that's not the point today. We'll get to takes later in the show. But yeah, I don't like when people run on the field. I must admit, I will say the element of this being, again, what appears to be some sort of prepubescent teenager.
But it could be dangerous.
It could be. I don't like it. I don't think it's funny.
Right.
I don't think it should be encouraged. I don't think it should be supported. I did have mixed feelings about even posting this on Discord today or even reposting this on Instagram. But there was just something I just needed to put it out there so that people could see the look on this kid's face while he is being taken off the field at Petco Park, because I've not seen that before.
It's not completely a good comparison, but it's in the same realm. About a week ago, I stopped at a Jamba Juice. I don't know if you've ever been to a Jamba Juice, Darren.
I have. Used to go all the time until I learned that they were unhealthy.
Oh, I was in the mood for a lot of fruit, a lot of mango.
Did you ever do the wheatgrass?
No. Well, yeah, I did a long time ago, back when they had it at I guess Whole Foods in Hillcrest. I used to go and get shots of wheatgrass and it'd make my arm hair stand up. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Like Leah and I used to go, be like, yeah, wheatgrass is good for us. We're doing healthy things. And like one day we woke up like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So I was at Jamba Juice, and they have switched the ordering where you don't place the order with a person now. There's a kiosk, and you just type in your order like you're on a website. You can also just order on an app or whatever. And I'm in this Jamba Juice, and there's a woman with 3 boys who are all about the age of this kid who got tackled yesterday, 11, 12, 13. And every single time someone's done ordering on the kiosk, these boys would go over and just start messing with it, pressing buttons, trying to create the world. And every time they would completely miss the fact that there was a line behind them. And their mom would look up from her phone and be like, oh, and she'd go over and be like, you have to let people order, get out of the way. And then people would order and the kids would go back. And the same thing happened 3 or 4 times. And finally, me and the guy behind the counter, made eye contact. He could see that I, as a parent, was just getting annoyed by this woman not paying attention to her kids. And he looked up, he was like, ma'am, if you can't control your children, please take them outside. And I was like, yeah, I like that. Good for that guy.
Yeah. I'm supportive of that kind of authority in life. As a non-parent, sometimes I don't like when the terms are dictated by these parents and their children. I just don't.
Yeah.
My enjoyment and my time isn't worth any less than yours or your kids, just for the record. And we run into these situations from time to time. So I'm glad to hear that somebody's trying to restore order to the world. Have you ever been part of a group, John, that had a couple too many cocktails or smoked too much weed and somebody jumped out there on the field, or this was ever a conversation with you and your buddies? One time for me, I can remember we actually had one idiot in our group who was literally trying to figure out how many strides it would take for him to get to the field, but cooler heads and common sense prevailed, so he didn't do it. But that's the closest we ever came. We never had anybody in our group growing up that did such a thing.
I was in a group of drunken people at Petco Park. We were along the left field, outfield wall, and there was one guy who was like, I'm going. And the rest of us literally held him back as he literally was trying to put his leg over the outfield wall. And we were all just grabbing him no, you're not going to get arrested today. And we pulled him up and then walked him up to the top of the section out of there. And security saw us and thanked us. They're like, hey, thanks. We saw that. Appreciate that. We didn't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like sounds like we're promoting it, but I mean, this was just kind of a rare one. This just didn't seem to be from the common cut cloth of stupid people running around on the field. I mean, maybe as a stupid kid, I don't know, probably, but just I can't unsee the look on that kid's face. Anyway, like I said, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a lot for this game last night. We're going to just get into some other stuff on today's section 1904. It was kind of boring. It was 5-1. Padres scored a run here in this inning, scored 2 there, scored another. It always felt like the game was one at bat from being completely out of reach and being a laugher where you didn't have to think about using high leverage relievers. But the Padres could never really create that kind of distance from San Francisco. I would just say, not to analyze it all, I just think there's something weird going on with the offensive personality of the club. And I'll tell you what I mean. It didn't take long. Padres are down 1-0 in the bottom of the first. Fernando Tatis Jr. reaches on an error for the first time. The first error that he reached on, he actually reached base twice on San Francisco errors. I suppose you can spin that as well. His athleticism forces the fielders. Like, okay. But he's on first base. There's nobody out. You're down by a run. You're at home. Luis Ariz has won, 3 batting titles? 3?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
And Luis Ariz squares to bunt Fernando Tatis Jr. He tries to bunt. He tried that. He stabbed at it. It was a strike. He made contact. And this isn't bunting for a hit because Luis Ariz, he ain't that guy. He's trying to sacrifice. What is wrong with the wiring of this team right now? That down 1-0, even with Pivetta on the mound, if you're thinking, okay, it's going to be a low-scoring game, every run's going to count. What are we doing with the leadoff hitter who should be athletic enough to steal a base? He actually did later in the game when the San Francisco Giants decided they weren't going to pay attention to base runners at all. But what strategy is this in the first inning of the game where your 3-time batting champ is bunting over your leadoff hitter who is the incredibly athletic Fernando Tatis Jr.? I don't understand what's happening with this group.
It's a lack of confidence. Like, that's a total lack of confidence. In the first inning, to be
With
like,
those
hey,
two guys?
we're gonna take the bat out of Luis Ariz's hands and ask him to bunt. This is a guy who barely understands the strike zone. You're gonna ask him to bunt? Like, he's maybe the best contact hitter in terms of he can make contact with any pitch that the league has ever seen. Again, I asked this last week. Why don't they hit and run with this ever?
I don't understand it.
Like, just send Tatis, tell Ariz to hit any pitch that's coming. Like, yeah, Tatis might have to go running back to first base, and then you got the out, sure. And a bunt, if he can actually pull it off, guarantees Fernando Tatis Jr. second base. But like, how many years now have we said if Tatis is on first base, you're basically guaranteed second base anyway because he's so good at stealing bases and he's so fast. Yeah, it's a lack of confidence, and it's really, really concerning. And I said this on our Discord. By the way, shout out to everyone who sends me emails and goes, I need that Discord link. You and Darren talk about it, and it sounds awesome. I said on the Discord that I watched Marty Caswell's video where she interviewed Fernando Tatis Jr. after the game. I actually put it in the Front Row Seat newsletter this morning. He looks miserable. And like, I know he's got a camera in his face, but they're in second place. They just won a baseball game, and he's just sitting there, arms crossed. And she's like, "How's it feel to get a win?" He's like, "It's fine." And it's like, I'm not, again, in the last 4 months, the only period where we were like, hey, that looks like Tatis, was when his father was in town. And they made a big deal about the fact that his father was in town leading up to the All-Star break. Hire his father, buy him a condo, like, get him here, because whatever's going on with Junior is, it's a little distressing in more ways than one.
Yeah. And, I mean, I think the thing is like, okay, so, I think it's fair. We've pointed this out. He doesn't resemble, I mean, the term actually that I had never heard of before last night on Discord was, what is it? New Tatis. This is new Tatis. And people miss old Tatis. And, I was like, whoa, I hadn't heard that term. Apparently it's floating around out there on some of the social media channels. Yeah, I thought Tatis 2.0, but, usually 2.0 means it's an improvement. But, people are still pointing out that even in the season, which, can be framed as a successful season for Fernando Tatis Jr. and that he hasn't completely fallen off with every other aspect of his game, right? There's just no power. Like, there's just like zero power. There's zero slug anymore from this guy. And that's not the player that people expected. When you want to find out why it is that the Padres are bottom of the barrel in baseball when it comes to slug and home runs, look no further than your leadoff hitter. So, and it's not to say it's all him, but a lot of that is him. I think a lot of that was the expectation. I mean, it's to the point now where people are starting to think like, is he going to get to 20 this year? Like, is he literally going to get to 20 home runs this year?
I did think he stung the ball a couple times last night. Like,
okay, but it doesn't go over the wall. I mean,
right, and the at-bats weren't terrible, and he stung them like one of them he stung right at the third baseman. I think the guy had to jump to get it. But all the balls he stung were basically line drives at the height of an infielder. So like even if he's making good contact, like you got to get under it, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, guys put infielders there for a reason.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
you got to hit it over them. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's why the guy's playing there. That's why they move the guys around a little bit. So anyway, but like I think. I think this is what the rub is in the analysis and probably over analysis of Tatis and the body language and such is like you are still contributing, even if you're not contributing in the way that people had expected you to, or people are used to you contributing to the club.
Right.
You are still contributing, and you are still an all-star, and you are on a team that's 2 games out of first base, and it feels like you have just become this really unhappy entity because of what it is that you are not doing. Instead of even the things that you are doing and the things that the team is doing. And I think that's why people are down on him, are down on new Tatis. It's not just because he's not hitting home runs. It's because it just feels like he is incapable. And, he's talked about it and everybody's going to, overanalyze it. And people are doing this on Twitter and I don't love it. But like there still is this bigger picture that, you should feel like you're included in because there still are a lot of things to like. And there still are things that you are doing, even if it's not like the thing or the top couple of things. And you still are a part of that. Yet, it feels like we're made to feel like you're not enjoying this. And, that is having an impact, I think, across the board. Anyway.
Wait, just to full circle that, and then we can move on to the next thing, which I think is going to be a much more fun conversation. The Tatis is miserable because he is not playing well, and it doesn't matter how well the team is playing, always brings me back to maybe the biggest, most newsworthy on-field moment of Fernando Tatis Jr.'s career, when Manny Machado, caught on a mic, is yelling at Fernando Tatis in a St. Louis dugout, "It's not about you." And that was 2021. Tatis finished 3rd in MVP voting that year, but he was going through a slump. And they really needed a good series against the Cardinals. And Tatis was just mopey. He was really mopey. And the rest of the team was playing well, and Tatis was just moping. And Machado was like, dude, like, we need everyone's energy to be good right now. And I know you're going through a slump, but you cannot be dragging us down. It's not about you. He's just always kind of been like that. Maybe he's always going to be that guy, right? But I don't know.
It's hard. I can appreciate how hard this is, and maybe he's like, geez, what has happened to me? Like this isn't the version of myself. Right. That's why I never feel bad saying like, hey, these things, it doesn't resemble it, because it's the sort of stuff that he sees. But again, I still think he's valuable. I still think that he carries a level of value to the club. I brought this up, I think a couple of weeks ago here. It reminds me a little bit of, the story I heard about Jason Hayward when the Cubs signed him, and they're like, there's something wrong with the guy. Like, we don't know what it is. We don't have time to fix it during the regular season because he's playing great and right. He's a team leader. We need him. He runs the bases pretty well. Maybe he'll run into one every once in a while, but it, like, whatever it is that's ailing this guy, it's got to be fixed in the offseason. And we're trying to win a World Series, so we don't have time to slow down and try to figure this out. And it never really seemed to impact that guy, at least from afar, from where we sat, and he still was able to do the things. But I don't know. It doesn't, he's not the box office that he used to be. But, if the team stays within striking distance, makes the weekend interesting, I think that's all we could start at the week. When we started the week, that's all we asked for was, let's make the weekend series against the Dodgers relevant. It still feels like we're on track for that. So they'll play again tonight. All right. Let me take this opportunity to say this is Section 1904. This is a local media company, podcast, website, service. John is writing lots of previews and recaps and front row seat. If you're a subscriber to Section 1904, we know that you have many options, and some of these options are free. This is one where we are totally ad-free for now and maybe forever. We'll see. Yeah, we're just, a few months into this. But you have access to the Discord channel that John already mentioned. You get exclusive content Our Monday podcasts are always free. Randomly, we will put podcasts out there for free like we did yesterday because we were running so late. We have social media channels, Section 1904, Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, X, so you can find us there. There are other things coming. I know I keep saying this and people keep going, when is this other stuff coming? There are different tiers that you can subscribe to that will give you different access. We are efforting a line of merch. Tomorrow, we are planning on Thursday, Padres day game, just past 1 o'clock, I think, 1:10.
Yep.
First pitch against San Francisco, getaway day. We are going to go back to Bottle Rocket on 16th downtown, just off the 94 freeway. If you're getting off, there's this great mural, Tony Gwynn, right-hand side of the street. That place is called Bottle Rocket. They have great food. They have a full bar. They have great cocktails and all sorts of stuff there, beers. So we will be there. We don't have a time. They open at 11. I have to go out to SDFC training, so I should be there right a little bit past 11. But if you're going to the game and if you want a pregame, we're just going to hang out. We're going to record the podcast tomorrow from there. So come hang out with us. But we would appreciate your support. $5 a month. And if you want to go up to higher tiers, there are other benefits associated with that. So we do this Monday through Friday, at least here. We do something, some podcasts. Sometimes we do some live stuff over the weekends. We've dabbled in that, stuck our big toes in, etc. And we try to bring you some fun interviews. Like we're trying to track somebody down from the Savannah Bananas right now, since the Savannah Bananas, John, are heading to town. Are you excited about that?
I am excited for the Savannah Bananas. I'm probably going to try and see if I can watch these games at Petco Park on TV because I was not able to score a ticket. It says it's sold out. I think you could probably get in on the secondary market, but it's pretty damn expensive. But yeah, what I've seen and what I've heard of the Savannah Bananas, I mean, their whole motto, if you go to their website, is we're trying to make baseball fun again. That's been a pet project of mine, a hobby horse of mine for quite some time, that baseball should be fun. And I like a lot of their goofy little rules. I think they're smart. I don't think they'll be adopted by Major League Baseball, but I like that Bananaball is a thing that exists. I think I pitched to you last night that they have a Netflix docu-series that I might try and watch in the next couple weeks before they make it here to San Diego. But I had a question to you that I gave you before we started recording because I wanted you to think about it. And I thought of this because in the front row seat today, I included AJ Pierzynski and Mark Burley, both formerly of the Chicago White Sox, played together as members of the Savannah Bananas when the Bananas visited whatever the White Sox stadium is now called, Rate Cut Field or whatever. And
Yeah,
they
very charming. Rate cut. Why not?
Yeah. And they do this a lot where if they play a game in a certain stadium, they'll try and bring back players that have been semi-recently retired from that team, give the fans someone, that they recognize that they want to cheer for already. And so I asked you, the Bananas, I believe, play 2 games in 2 nights at Petco Park. Who do you think is going to come out and play for the Savannah Bananas that is going to fire up the Padre fans that are filling up the stands? Do you have answers? Because I have a long list of potentials.
Well, I know that you and I have one that we're both going to say. We might as well just say it at the same time.
Go
Ready?
ahead.
1, 2, 3. Trevor
Hoffman.
Yeah, because I don't know much about the Savannah Bananas, but I know it's a show.
Yep.
And Hell's Bells would be a show.
Ooh.
And you'd put on the bells in Petco Park, right? And he would come out and he would do something. Does that make sense?
I think it does. My only question is kind of shape is Trevor in? Not shape, but how
Great.
Do you think he can throw a baseball more than 80 miles an hour?
What is the level here? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but
I don't know either. I mean, I saw retired Jake Peavy doing something for this team.
But Peavy's 20 years younger than Hoffman.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor will hump it up there. He'll be fine.
Okay, so
yeah, but I mean, your point is well taken. But Trevor's in great shape.
Okay, so that's what I was hoping for. I do want to see if they can do the Hell's Bells thing. I will actually, if that happens, I'm going to regret not buying a ticket.
Yeah, I know. Thinking about that, I'm like, yeah, man, Hell's Bells one more time.
Yeah. Do you have any other names you want to throw out before I dig through my list?
I do. How many do you want?
We can go real fast. I
would throw a couple out here. I don't know if they're going to grant this guy some time off. Padres are notorious for not allowing this sort of thing. But I would think Tony Gwynn Jr. would
He's
be a
second
good
on my
name.
list. Second
Yeah,
on my
I would
list.
think Tony Gwynn Jr. I would think that Greg Vaughn would be somebody that fans would be excited to see.
Thought about that. He's not on my list.
I think he is local or spent some time here locally. I would think that's the kind of guy. You know who's always down for some sort of silly occasion? Heath Bell.
Third on my list.
Yeah. So, these are the names that have floated around. I thought about Bavakwa, but I think Bakwa's become some raging lunatic on social media. So I'm not sure you'd really want to include him in this. But, I'm sure he's asking. If there's an opportunity for him to put his name out there, he will do it. But I'm guessing people will say, yeah, I don't know. This guy just yells at people on Twitter all day. I think we'll take a pass on that one. So those are the names off the top of my head.
All right, I'm going to throw some names at you. You can give me a yes or a no based on A, if you think that they can actually play baseball at whatever this level is, and B, if you think that they're a big enough name for the crowd to care. David Wells?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But again, what are you asking him to do exactly?
Throw an inning, throw 25
You're worried
pitches.
about Trevor, and you're saying, what about David Wells?
No, I'm not. I'm worried about them both, Darren. I'm worried about David Wells way more than I'm worried about Trevor Hoffman. But he's a name in there. I put him in with a question mark. I mean, look, he goes in the same category with Mark Grant, question mark.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be great. It would take the roof off the place if Mark Grant came out in a Savannah Bananas uniform.
Yeah, it seems like it's perfect for him. What very little I know about the Savannah Bananas, it feels like Mark Grant would be a perfect fit.
I would love to ask Mark Grant the question, when's the last time you threw a pitch as hard as you could?
He throws BP every once in a while.
Does he really?
He used to. I don't know that he still does. It's been a minute since I've been around it. But
okay.
I've seen him many, many times throwing batting practice over the years. Again, I haven't seen this recently, so maybe he's retired from that.
All right, so we're the first three names that you said, Trevor, Tony Jr., and Heath Bell are the most likely. Now we're getting into my guys that make a little bit more sense. Peavy, again, I know he did it in Atlanta, but San Diego's not going to care. Peavy coming out in San Diego would matter. Chase Headley, question mark? I don't know if it's big enough. These last two, these feel like ones that should have been considered in the top 3 or 4. Steve Finley?
Yeah, I could see that. I think Finn still lives around town. Last I heard, he was still up there in North County.
He was doing stuff for Fox Sports San Diego or Bally Sports for a while.
Yeah.
And then this one. This one I feel like is a surefire winner, but that's just not going to happen. There might be money issues here. Adrian Gonzalez.
Listen, I always thought Adrian kind of caught a bad rap here locally. I don't understand why everybody turned on Adrian. I just don't. And it's not like it hasn't been said to me time and time again. I don't understand it. I would love to see Adrian Gonzalez participate in this.
He's got some local businesses, local kid. I think it would mean a lot to some of the communities in San Diego to see Adrian Gonzalez out there doing a couple of at-bats for the Savannah Bananas.
I'll give you another one now that just popped into my mind, but I know he's been around locally. Brett Boone. Doesn't Brett Boone go on Ben and Woods?
Yeah, I thought about that, but do Padre fans really give a shit about Brett Boone? What do you play, a year or two here?
I don't know. I mean, he's on local radio on a regular basis. What about oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Give me a position.
Made the greatest catch ever in Petco Park history during the World Baseball Classic. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on him. He's one of my favorite dudes.
Not Manuel Margot. No, that was the Rising Stars.
No. He robbed Manny Machado during the WBC. He's a San Diego guy. Adam
Jones.
Adam Jones.
Yeah, again, didn't play for the Padres, so you're
Does that matter? Is that the thing? I get what you're saying because you just said it about Burley and about Brzezinski.
Are they playing to the Ben and Woods audience, or are they playing to the Padres audience? I don't know.
What's the difference?
Yeah, I don't know. So the ones that are pretty obvious are Trevor, Tony Gwynn Jr., Heath Bell. Trevor can get Hell's Bells. Heath Bell can run out from the bullpen.
Yeah, I could do without Heath Bell, to be honest.
Me too. But Adrian Gonzalez would tear the roof off. And I think Steve Finley, along with Adrian Gonzalez, Steve left and he was a Dodger and he was a Diamondback. And I think people felt a little burnt by that. But I think Steve Finley coming back and getting some flowers from the fans would be a moment. But yeah, Trevor coming out to Hell's Bells would be something.
And I think we probably should mention this again. It just popped into my mind, but there was just some high school baseball classic at Petco Park last weekend where honorary coaches were Phil Nevin, Ryan Klesko, and Mark Loretta. So those guys are available as well. And
I'll take
Nevin,
Klesko all day.
yeah, I mean, listen, Nev's a friend of mine. So if he wanted to participate in it, I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be kind of funny because Phil can be a bit serious at times. But
does he have a silly side?
What's that?
Does he have a silly side?
Oh, he does for sure. But like he just was like gruff. But I think if they invited him, that would be fun. Again, I don't really know much about the Savannah Bananas. I really don't. I really don't even know what the level is. I don't know what the expectation is. I know it gets compared to the Harlem Globetrotters all the time, but the Globetrotter games were always fixed. You always knew what was going to happen.
Right.
Where I don't think that's the case with the Savannah Bananas. Like they actually go out there and they compete and they lose a lot. Like they lose a lot of these games, don't they?
They do. I think we looked this up. They're like almost 500 in terms of wins and losses. Not
and
that
who do they even
counting.
play? Like who are they playing here?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
But, you see stuff like they have a guy who'll pitch sometimes on stilts. So he's like 12 feet tall, like trying to throw it down. Like they do goofy stuff like that. My favorite rule ever, Craig Elston sold me on Bananaball years ago with just this. If you hit a foul ball and someone in the crowd catches it, you're out. I love that rule. That's like my favorite baseball rule of all time. Would never become a part of Major League Baseball, but it just makes the whole experience more of an experience and a lot more fun.
And is it the whole, correct me if I'm wrong, again, like I have so little knowledge of Savannah Bananas here, not even surface level knowledge.
We should watch this docuseries.
Yeah.
I'm sure it explains it.
Are we bailing on the Birmingham?
You know what? No, because I watched the second episode and it had the thing that I wanted the first episode to have.
I'll watch it today.
Which it had players. It made the players into characters because they have and you realize why they didn't do it in the first episode, and that's because the second episode starts with the next season.
Right.
And it's all new players, and so they're bringing in all these guys, and then you sit down, you learn those guys' stories, and they're being interviewed, and it gets better in the second episode. No,
the first episode was, hey, we've completely torpedoed this season, and now we have to rebuild it. All right, that's the sense I get where it's going here. But I will try to watch it, since it's coming here, and plus it sounds like it might be some good content. But my read on it is like it's essentially the Savannah Bananas are looking at Major League Baseball and going, "Why are you guys taking yourselves so seriously?" Like,
correct.
This is supposed to be fun.
Correct.
Right. Like that's kind of what it is. So, all right. By the way, speaking of baseball, there's all sorts of rumors that a television deal is lurking around the corner here. No Apple. Netflix for the Home Run Derby, which honestly, who cares? What else did I see?
Wasn't it
NBC?
I saw MLB TV is going to be a part of
sold to ESPN.
Sold to ESPN
for a lot of money. Now, is that good for the Padres? Do the Padres benefit for that, or are they just adopted by MLB TV? I don't know. Are they MLB TV, or did they just get adopted because they don't have anywhere else to go?
I don't know.
I don't know that either. So maybe when Eric Grupner was on Ben and Woods last week, he was saying, "Oh yeah, like, hey, listen, this is the best TV deal that we can get." Which I'm like, yeah, is it? But he said it publicly, so he's on record, which I always think is there's some value in that. Maybe he was talking about this. Maybe somehow they're folded into Major League Baseball, MLB TV being sold to ESPN for a lot of money. So I mean, maybe this is a good thing, and maybe some of us will say, "Hey, listen, we were critical because we didn't know, and if this turns out to be really, really good for the Padres, then great job, everybody." But again, nothing's done yet. But I think some of the details were NBC, ESPN, Netflix off the top of my head. So
I think I saw Netflix was getting like the Home Run Derby.
Right, which again, like who cares, right? Who gives a shit? Apple's out. No more Friday Night Baseball. NBC Peacock is in for Friday and Sunday, and Wild Card. MLB TV being sold to ESPN for a boatload of money. But again, unclear what exactly that means.
I have no clue what that means.
Netflix gets the Home Run Derby, which, I get Netflix. I don't know that I will or won't. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that. One quick bit of news just as we're recording here, and this, this is just official from SDFC. Leo Duro, Duro, he's a defender from Manchester, England, has been acquired. This is a signing or a loan. He's eligible to represent Nigeria in the U.S. at the international level. 4 times for the U.S. under-20, John. Another under-20 player. We should have asked Marko Mitrovic about this. He's on loan from Blackburn. I can confess to you now that I did see him yesterday at training. 20 years old, Blackburn Rovers, 74 appearances, 3 goals, 9 assists. Probably good timing here as a defender, since I'm not so sure about Aiden Harangi's availability or Oscar Verhoeven's availability coming up this weekend. But just a little bit of news there from SDFC. We'll probably have more on this on the midweek show, which is tonight, 6:00 on 760 in the iHeartRadio app.
I meant to ask you yesterday because you said, I think you said on Monday that you thought by Tuesday we would have some sort of information about Harangi and what his injury is. Was there no information?
I didn't get any info. I think they were waiting for some results, but
that looked like a shoulder to me.
I think he was in a sling, so I'm going to guess things probably are not going to be repaired in time for this weekend.
The way he walked off holding his arm, that looked very painful and serious.
It reminded me, I was on the field when Breeze got hurt against the Broncos, and it reminded me of that, where he just and like, I've broken my collarbone, and like, that feeling of I don't want to make any sudden movements here. I don't want to walk quickly. Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying that's what it is. I hand to heart here, I do not know what it is, but I did see that he was keeping the arm immobilized as of Tuesday. So my guess is that he will probably need a little bit of time. Just a guess. Mikey will speak on Thursday, and I'm sure he'll be asked that question, just like he'll be asked about Chucky. Don't know what to make of that situation either.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that. All right. So listen, as we said, we don't want to go tons of in depth into the Padres yet. Here we are sitting 37 minutes into this podcast. So let's play a game. We just joked yesterday. Yeah. Rate that take. So this is what it is. We live in a take culture now. And sometimes really, really talented personalities get sucked into the take vortex when really all they become now, instead of being analytical or being thoughtful or being thought provocative or being journalistic, they are just all about takes. Everything's about takes. So, I think we can rate other people's takes. Are you comfortable rating other people's takes, John?
God, yeah, that's all I do.
Okay. So do you feel like are you a take merchant yourself? Do you have a bunch of takes?
I wish I was more of a take merchant. The thing is, like, I don't think while I'm doing this, like, oh, I got a really good take lined up. Like, I probably should come into every podcast with, like, here's my strong take that I'm going to make, and it's going to turn into a TikTok video, and it's going to blow up. But I just come in here and chat with you about sports. But
that's what I do.
I do look at other people's takes, and sometimes I look at them with envy, and sometimes I look at them with disgust, because they're obviously generated for a reason that I don't agree with. But yeah, I already rate them in my head. So you've been pitching this idea of rate this take for a while now. I'm glad we finally did it. We each picked 3 takes. I know what yours are. You don't know what mine are, because I had to load all the videos and audio into the system. Should we just take turns?
Yeah, I think we should alternate. And it's not a competition here. I mean, this is just John and me. We've had some takes that stood out to us, but we're going to grade them on a scale of 1 to 10. Our categories are delivery. So regardless of take, like we could put some really offensive stuff up here potentially, but if there's good delivery, we are analyzing the delivery of the take. The delivery is 1. The entertainment value. Was this an entertaining take? Did this person hyperventilate? Did this person burst into flames? Or was this person delivering this take in a very, very monotone sort of way? Is this a rational take? What is the rationality? We're not sure that that's a word, but what is the rationality? So
rationality is a word.
Yeah, 1 to 10, scale of 1 to 10. We will grade these takes, and we'll just burn through them because, like I said, I mean, I don't want to get sucked into the local landscape of like everybody's just spending hours talking about this very forgettable Padre game. I mean, there just has to be another way to entertain people who are tuning in. So we'll see. I think rate that take is a winning concept, but we'll see. We're going to put it into play right now. John, why don't you cue up our first take?
All right.
I feel like we need some music, like rate that take.
I'll work on it.
Yeah.
After the clash with Trump over the National Guards and the Marines coming into the city of Los Angeles. Remember all of that? July of 2025. His approval rating jumped from 38% to 56% approval. Typical range, 52 to 56% approval in state polls. Why is this relevant? Because you're talking about somebody, let's call it what it is. Say this about Gavin Newsom. The brother looks presidential. I mean, listen, you know, I don't look at men that way. That's just not my flavor. But the brother does look good in the blue suit. I mean, he looks very presidential. He really, really does. Hair slicked back. Pat Riley might be jealous. Good-looking dude. Excellent, excellent speaker. Can articulate his thoughts clearly, highly intelligent. Knows the issues. Knows how to fight. And is willing to take on.
All right, so this is Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, for those that are just listening here and unable to have seen this or couldn't quite place it. Stephen A. Smith is talking about the governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom, who is a polarizing figure on the Discord, I might add. So this is Stephen A. Smith now, who's sitting somewhere in a sound studio, presumably in New York or whatever, talking about how Gavin Newsom appears presidential. John, I will start with delivery. I think that Stephen A. is, you know, it's very rare that the energy isn't where it needs to be to deliver a good take. I don't know that that was really over the top, though. It seemed like he was being a bit measured. Politics, he's doing more and more politics here. It's not exactly his wheelhouse. He's not screaming about LeBron James, you know, something that he's very near and dear to him, something that maybe he's a little bit more comfortable with. Maybe he's also trying to appeal to a political audience, that he's just not this screaming take merchant on ESPN who's always yelling about wide receivers in the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm going to say delivery-wise, everything was pretty well stated. I'm going to give him like a solid 7.5 on that.
Yeah, I was thinking like an 8 for delivery and like an 8 for entertainment. Like this isn't, Stephen A. Smith didn't give it his all. We know he's got another gear or two above this, but the delivery was just killing me, because Stephen A. feeling like he's going to get caught saying something just by complimenting Gavin Newsom, and saying he looks good in a suit. No, I don't look at brothers like that.
Oh, there's anything wrong with that.
Rationality is probably about the same, 7 or 8. So like total score for me on Stephen A. is probably somewhere around 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I think he added in the entertainment there in his own unique way. I would say the rationality actually gets a little bit higher for me, because he actually came prepared with poll numbers. He actually is like, hey, like since everything went down in Los Angeles, this brother's poll numbers went from the 30s to the 50s, right? And you're like, oh, okay, like he's done a little bit of research here. He's not just shooting off from the hip like he normally does about all this bullshit. So, I actually think the rationality gets the highest grade for me. So I'm with you. I think that across the board, again, was it entertaining? It was in its own unique way. I don't know that he was intending for it to be entertaining, but it just kind of was the way he said that about like, hey, I don't want to look at men like that. But slick back hair, Pat Riley would be jealous.
I do love, you can see him thinking when he says Pat Riley, and he's like, yeah, I nailed it. And then he's like, wait, what if the political people don't know who Pat Riley is? Like, you can see him doubting himself. It's great.
Yeah. So, I'm with you. I think overall, like, I'm going to go like across the board. Not as entertaining, but, I think it's a pretty, that's a good 7.5 for me.
All right, I'm going to start with one of mine that's controversial, and it's the one of my 3 that you have already seen, because I texted this to you the other day. This is a clip from a TikTok show called Subway Takes, where there's a guy and he just finds random people on the New York City subway and asks them, "What's your take?"
So what's your take?
Smoking is actually okay for you,
100% disagree.
provided you walk a lot.
So you think that you can smoke cigarettes as long as you're walking?
I'm living proof of it. I've been smoking for over 60 years now. And I've done marathons. I did my first marathon when I was 59 years old. I did 5 more of them.
After smoking for 60 years.
As a matter of fact, in the marathon, I would pull over to the curb once every 2 hours and have a cigarette and then pick up again. My lungs are perfectly fine. I go to the doctor for a full physical every 90 days. I don't have any lung problems. I don't have any cancer problems. I did. I had colon cancer, but I didn't get that from smoking cigarettes.
So you're encouraging everyone to light up?
I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything.
You're just saying it's overblown.
There's probably a lot of things that are much worse for you than smoking.
What do you think is worse?
Drugs. Who needs drugs? I don't need drugs. I have a good life. don't need to get high. I used to drink, but I gave it up 24 years ago because of the calorie intake of booze.
How many cigarettes do you smoke a day?
I smoke 10 a day.
Do you think you're addicted?
Oh, sure, you're addicted. What are you kidding me? I thought about actually quitting one time. I lasted about 2 hours. My boss came running out and said, here's 20, go buy a pack of cigarettes. Please, Bob, you're killing everybody.
What's your favorite part of smoking? What do you like about it?
Gives me a break. I don't smoke inside. I don't smoke inside a car. I smoke outside. So I get up from my desk every 2 hours. I go outside, have a cigarette, relax, take in some fresh air.
When's the last time you smoked?
Probably an hour and a half ago.
So you're due for one.
Well, listen, this is my stop, so I might as well get off.
All right, see ya.
Guys, be well.
Bye, Bob.
All right. So Bob.
Bob.
I love Bob.
Bob's
So
a smoker.
The background here is that I smoked for a really long time. I only really quit when my wife was like 8 months pregnant with our daughter and said, I don't want our baby smelling like cigarettes. You should probably quit smoking. And I've here and there when things get stressful, I buy a pack, I smoke through it. You saw me do this like 6 months ago. And then I re-quit, but I miss it. And when I smoked, people would be like, you're killing yourself. And I'm like, it's a double-edged sword. Because either, like Bob said, I can get a break every couple hours, like go outside, have 5 minutes to myself, get some sunshine, breathe some fresh air along with the nicotine. And that really helps my anxiety and my separation from work or whatever else, the stress building in my head. I was like, or I can quit that and I have to deal with all the stress and the anxiety and I don't have the tools to do it. And that's really unhealthy for like my heart and everything else. So I was like, I used to tell people like with a cigarette in my hand, I'd be like, this actually keeps me healthier than not doing it. Do I still believe that? Probably not. But yeah, I think Bob has some strong takes here. I think his delivery is fantastic. I think the entertainment value is fantastic. I think the rationality is fantastic. I'm giving him like a 10 on all of them.
Yeah, I think his delivery is really good because he's just honest and he's matter of fact and he doesn't give a flying F if anybody agrees. Like, I'm just a smoker. Like, that's all it is. His rationality is a bit too anecdotal for me that he's 60 years old and therefore, this guy who's been able to smoke for all these years.
He ran a marathon.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But, lots of other people probably have had different experiences with smoking.
That's probably true.
Okay, so I don't know that. I think he's going to get a pretty low grade for me on his rationality. I think it's probably like a 5 or less. But it works for him, and that's the most important part. Entertaining-wise, yes, like you said. Ran a marathon. Can't go 2 hours without it. I like the story about the boss. He's like, hey, you're killing everybody in here. You're miserable. Here's a 20. Go get a pack of cigarettes. And like, please stop being a miserable presence inside of the workplace. So that was really good, entertaining. I don't know that I agree with the overall premise and the conclusion that he draws there, but like you said, I think there are still lots of people now who feel like, hey, we have become pariahs in this world because we choose to smoke some nicotine from time to time. We don't do these other things, but we are the pariahs in this world while everybody else is running around, socializing, drinking, and doing all sorts of drugs, right? Like we're all now smoking weed or taking edibles and mushrooms are coming. So, why are we the pariahs in this conversation? So I understand that. You kind of touched on that with your own personal experiences itself. I'm going to go a little lower overall on this. I'm going to say that though there were some high points. I'm going to say this is like a 6.5 for me.
That's fair because we differ on the rating of the rationality.
Right. But the rationality to me just drags us down.
Yeah, and
everything else is good though.
And I had a hard time disagreeing with the rationality, so it stays high for me.
But if it works for him, it works for him, right? And that's all that matters.
Right.
For Bob.
And I think when I sent that to you like a week ago, you wrote back everything in moderation.
Everything.
And it's like, that's what it is. And honestly, 10 cigarettes a day. I used to smoke like 8 to 10, something like that. And it's like, I'm not smoking a pack a day. I'm not smoking 2 packs a day. And this is keeping Bob from drinking and doing drugs and eating too much.
This is it, right?
Good for him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is what it is that prevents him from doing these other things that would be more detrimental to him. I was a long time smoker too. I don't ever have that urge. Last time I had an urge, I went to a fantasy football draft in Vegas. And somebody was smoking. I was like, give me one of those Marlboro Lights. It just was terrible.
Disgusting. The first one's always awful.
And it's just like my throat hurt, and that's really bad for me. So, I mean, I I don't know. I mean, I did like it when I was doing it. You know, I was never like, oh, how do I quit? One day I just stopped. I just was like, all right, I'm over it. Flicked the cigarette off my balcony. I was like, that's it. I'm done with them. And I moved on with my life. But I did too, probably for almost 20 years.
If I wasn't a smoker, I wouldn't have the story of bumming a cigarette off Harry Callis in between innings at a Phillies game once. That was awesome. All right, should we go back to one of yours?
Yes.
But the reality is this, and you hit the nail on the head again, Mike, is that the identity of this team is no longer, we're going to outwork you, we're going to have a dog in this fight, we're going to roll up our sleeves and do whatever we can to beat you. Now we're questioning whether or not you have that. And in 2014 World Cup in the United States, tied Portugal, should have won. They barely lost to Belgium, even though Tim Howard made 15, 16 saves, most saves ever. The question then, which is about 11 years ago, is how can the United States men compete with the top 10 countries in the world? But over the last 2 years, this generation lost a Copa America, couldn't advance in the group stage in their backyard. They lost to Canada in back-to-back games. They've lost to Panama in 3 straight games and not gotten a result, all in their backyard, all going into the World Cup. And you have the audacity to complain about criticism. Imagine if you were from Argentina or England or Brazil or Germany, the amount of pressure that would be on you. That's where you lose me with this, Mike. Mm-hmm. And so now we're having a conversation. I got to do the Le Batard show and talking about, are the players committed to going into a World Cup in their backyard in the biggest moment of their lives? And we're talking about a docuseries where the analysts outside are being called evil. Mike, they have completely lost the plot to me, and they've created this on their own.
Okay, so this is Taylor Twellman from Apple TV, who's a former soccer player and now a soccer analyst and pundit. Mm-hmm. Taylor is definitely, he worked at ESPN for many, many years. And Taylor is the example that I always hold up of somebody who is a really, really good analyst who got sucked into the take vortex. Mm-hmm. Now everything is a take. Even on the broadcast, things sound like they're takes. So him, Doug Gottlieb, some of these guys, like they just, they can't do it without it being a take. And what he's talking about is Christian Pulisic and Tim Weah specifically, 2 U.S. soccer players who didn't want to play for the United States this past summer during the Gold Cup, although, Weah had a bit of a Weah was playing in the Club World Cup, but they didn't want to play for the U.S., and they've been whining about this, and they've just really become unlikable figures for a lot of fans of U.S. soccer in that they're whining about Landon Donovan's criticism, and they're whining about Tim Howard's criticism because he's like, hey, where is the commitment from these guys? Like, not only is it disappointing on the field, now it looks like they just don't even give a shit about playing for the United States. And they are going on this documentary, and they are whining to the point where Tim Weah called these analysts evil, actually said they are evil people because they, of all people, should understand the pressures that come with this. And like, they have the entire U.S. soccer community either at odds or mostly hating them. And I think I'm in the latter camp as well. So that's just to set that up. Listen, Taylor was asked a question here, who's a guest on Dan Le Batard's show. I don't know that I don't know that there was high entertainment level here. I think that the rationality is probably pretty high, and I think that the delivery was pretty concise, that everybody understands what it is that he's saying. That you guys are a bunch of spoiled brats. You're coming across like a group of bitches, and you have no idea how good you actually have it. So maybe it's up to you guys just to shut up and actually understand what it is that you are capable of. And that you really you look foolish. You look ridiculous complaining about anybody giving a shit about U.S. soccer.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot about, I listen to a lot of podcasts, Darren, that on the political spectrum that make me sometimes feel like we're headed towards some 2025 version of whatever a civil war would be in this country. And it really stems from the fact that there's people on one side of a giant important argument, and there's people on the other side of a giant important argument, and they believe different things are true, and they don't respect one another, so they can't have a conversation. And at least Pulisic has been pretty open and honest about what side of the conversation that he's on. Pretty open and honest, not completely open and honest, about what side of that conversation he's on. And that the people on that side tend to go to, you don't agree with me? Well, the place you work for is terrible. You're fake news. You make stuff up. You're not credible, et cetera, instead of meeting it at the merits and having a conversation about it. So that's just my 2 cents of the actual conversation. I think Taylor, the rationality's high. The entertainment is pretty high. He's delivering it impassioned. And I think his delivery is good. Like, his delivery is clear and it grabs your attention. So this is going to be probably about as high as Stephen A. Smith in the 7-8 range for me. I think maybe 7. Okay, I'll go 8 for Stephen A. and 7 for Taylor Twellman.
Yeah, it's weird that Stephen A. is going to get graded a little bit higher here, just because it feels like it's out of his wheelhouse and maybe the degree of difficulty for him. Whereas this is what Taylor Twellman does. This is all he does.
Yeah, I've seen him give versions of this speech before.
Yeah, we don't need Taylor talking about something else outside of his comfort zone. So, maybe that's a little bit unfair that we're grading Stephen A. because he stepped out of his comfort zone, right? He tried the triple Lindy here. And, I'm not saying he got it perfect, but he got a little bit of a higher grade there. Because I'm like, actually, that was better than I thought. Yeah, I mean, I think, again, delivery, he made it kind of clear. He took a side. That's the thing. He's like, you guys, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like really referring to analysts who played for the U.S. as evil? Like, no, they're just saying, like, man, I wish these guys would act like they cared a little bit. I don't know what's so evil about that. And, these guys, like, especially Pulisic, he's really becoming unlikable very, very quickly as he's hiding behind this docuseries that he has chosen to do and his social media. And I think the worst is his dad. Like, he's just hiding behind his father, which is weak sauce. Anyhow.
Yeah. You ready for one of mine?
I'm ready.
Wait, did you give a rating to Taylor?
I think overall, he probably gets about a 7.
Okay, so we're at the same place there. My next take is someone more famous than Taylor Twellman and more famous than Stephen A. Smith, if you would believe it. This one is from Taylor Swift when she was on her boyfriend's podcast last week. It's kind of short, so be ready for it.
You should think of your energy as if it's expensive, as if it's like a luxury item. Not everyone can afford it. Yep. Like, not everyone has invested in you in order to be able to have the capital for you to care about this. Because, like, what you spend your energy on, that's the day.
Okay. I have complicated thoughts about this take.
Okay, this is on the podcast New Heights.
New Heights.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce and his brother Jason, and they had Taylor Swift on to announce her new upcoming album. And at some point it delved into that, which I think that's a really good way for celebrities to think about their time, really famous people to think about their time. My time is important. It's the most valuable thing I have. It's a luxury item. I need to think about how I spend it, who I spend it on. And I'm not just going to give it away to people who haven't earned it by building capital with me in some way, shape, or form. And I've seen so many people go like, this is how you should be thinking about your time and your energy. And I guess that's fair, but you know what? There's also like a dark side of that, which is like, don't talk to strangers. Don't give strangers your time. They haven't put in the time and energy, so why would you give them any of yours? And it's like, no. That's probably too far for a normal person. For her, that's fine. But for a normal person, like, maybe when it comes to like your friends, your family members, the people that are in your circle, you can give more time to the people that are willing to invest in you, whether that's through care or love or them putting in their own time and effort into the relationship or whatever. That's fine. But the idea of like, don't give any time to anyone who hasn't built the capital up, that's maybe a small step too far. That being said, I think the delivery was pretty bad. I thought the delivery was like a 5. I think the entertainment level was kind of a 5. This is not what she does, Darren. She's a singer. She's a dancer. She's not really a podcaster.
Yeah. Stick to singing, Taylor.
Yeah. I think the delivery was about a 5. The entertainment was about a 5. I think the rationality is like somewhere around a 7 or 8. So this is not the highest grade I'm going to give, but I thought it was interesting enough that I wanted to bring it and rate it. How do you feel about this?
And I haven't really watched any of this. Have you watched this entire thing?
I've seen clips.
Are you going to? Do you have any desire?
I keep telling my wife that we should watch it, and she goes, "Yeah, we'll get to it," and then we never do. So
is
I don't know.
Is she a Swiftie? Does she like Taylor Swift?
Oh yeah, massive.
But like to this point, or just as the singer and the dancer?
No, the whole thing.
Like, is she like, oh man, like I'm curious what Taylor thinks about stuff?
Probably, yeah.
Because that's usually not me. Like with athletes or with entertainers, like I very rarely actually care what they say.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I would say like maybe Taylor Swift is the only celebrity that she's like, I want to know what she thinks of it. And like, she'll, if someone says like, I'm a Swiftie, like she's immediately like, oh, you're a good person. I'm like, that's not how that works. but she's definitely all the way bought in. Yes.
Yeah. It's hard to understand exactly what it's like to be her, right? Like you could only guess. I mean, my first thought when I was hearing this was, well, this is a privileged take, isn't it?
Right. It's a good take for a very famous celebrity.
Yeah. Like it must be wonderful to live in a world where you don't actually have to do any of these things that you're describing. Mm-hmm. But, then as I thought about it, I was like, yeah, like there must be so many things said about her that you literally do have to live by this. And like, you do have to put it all into these different categories. So, I think, it is a position of privilege to say all the sorts of things that she's saying in general. But I'm with you. I don't know that everybody has that luxury in life that they're able to do that. And when you have all of these things that she has, that she has built to her credit, and you do have however many layers, however many filters that you have in your world, I do think that is something that most of us probably can't relate to. I don't know that it's the same thing. It's like, I don't want to get wrapped up in things that are happening on Twitter if it involves me. I'm just over that. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. People say, even earlier this year with this podcast, somebody's like, oh, it's bullshit or chicken shit that you guys hide on the podcast. I'm like, no, like I'm just not going to go spend a bunch of time. That's not my home field advantage. This is, right? So, this is why that makes a lot of sense for me. And I don't know that's exactly what she's saying. Is she offering advice, or is she just explaining kind of the way that she views the world?
I think I think the easier way to say something like this is just like, time is the most valuable thing you have.
Yeah.
And you should treat it as such. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I don't object to that, but again, not everybody's afforded that luxury in life. Yeah. I mean, I think the delivery was fine. It's, 6-ish, 0 entertainment value. Rationality is, I mean, she didn't sound, she hardly sounds ridiculous when she talks.
No, yeah, of course.
Like when Katy Perry got shot up into space, she sounded like a moron.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? And like she came down to earth, and everybody's like, "What is this? Like this is idiotic."
Yeah,
and I don't, I think it's rare that you see this person, who I'm not a fan of, that you see, this figure, Taylor Swift, engaging in that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I think her rationality is probably the highest grade. So yeah, I'm somewhere in about a 6 for this. So.
Okay.
All right. My last one is, it's about takes. So we're going to have takes on takes. So this is Kevin Clark.
There's not a lot of.
Wait. Sorry. Go ahead.
An incredibly talented member of the media named Kevin Clark, who does a show. I guess now he's most known for his NFL coverage. He does a show called This Is Football with Omaha Productions, which is Peyton Manning's company.
Yep.
I think it's a subsidiary of ESPN, if I have that right.
It is.
And Kevin Clark, I mean, and I love Kevin Clark. The only bad thing about Kevin is he does so much NFL now that he doesn't do the other things.
That's also
true. And
I
really loved Kevin when he was doing the other things, because I'm just, I'm not there for the NFL.
Yeah.
But on This Is Football, he's having a conversation with a guy who works for the NFL Network named Kyle Brandt. Is that right? Kyle Brandt, former Jim Rome producer.
Yep.
Again, by all accounts, a seemingly likable person, but a guy who is just all NFL. Nothing else. This is a one-trick pony. And they're having a conversation about preseason football. And they let us in on the thing that everybody should really know about preseason football. They actually let us in on the truth about these terrible exhibition games.
There's not a lot of insight to be gleaned by these preseason games, and there's not a lot of takes. So some people make one anyway. They're like, I got to go on the air and say something crazy, even though there's nothing to say. And they're like, I can't wait 3 weeks for real games. So I'll just say something that I don't believe in and that doesn't make sense. But damn, does it really get the clicks? Just like I did back in April at the draft. It's really become a referendum on the media that can't go on the air and say, yeah, but we'll see what happens when there's no worse take than we'll see, or it's going to be interesting. So it leaves us in this time in August where it's like, I'm kind of just talking out of my ass, and you ask me what I think, what do I glean from the preseason? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I have to say something irresponsible to be interesting, but I won't do it.
This is my favorite take of all of them. I think it delivers across the board, like 9s across the board on delivery, on rationality, and on entertainment. Although that's not going to stop anybody from the reality that tomorrow that guy's going to be on television raging about something that happened during the preseason. But I do appreciate the honesty. If very few people are ever going to actually watch that or believe in it, I do appreciate that really, really smart guys who cover the NFL are like, yeah, this is all bullshit, but what do you want us to do? Like, what do you want us to do? You want us to have no take? That's the worst take. So I give this 9s across the board. This was my favorite one.
This is the most 2025 thing, and I love it because, in the 90s, you didn't have Stuart Scott going on someone's podcast talk about how stupid he felt saying booyah a million times on SportsCenter. He just did it. And then we were just like, wow, Stuart Scott really loves yelling booyah. But now we have all these podcasts where people can kind of like let loose. Kyle Brandt, like to your point, he's not going to have this take on NFL Network tomorrow morning.
No, he'd get fired.
He'd get fired or reprimanded, pulled into someone's office and like, hey, we're trying to make the product seem exciting. What are you doing? But I love that he found an outlet for everyone to see that he's a normal person who understands that there's nothing to glean from these preseason games. They're essentially glorified practices, but they're paid to come up with takes. This is why Dan Lebitard always says Stephen A. Smith is the best to ever do it. He doesn't have the smartest takes. He's not the most intelligent guy. He's not incredibly well written or even incredibly well spoken, although he is well spoken. But he is the absolute best at finding something that means nothing and getting all worked up about it and making the audience think that matters to him. And that's how he becomes what did you call him? A hot take?
Something? A take merchant.
A take merchant.
Yeah.
That's how you become a take merchant.
To the tune of $20 million a year, by the way. I mean, there's a lot of money in takes. And there's a lot of money for as much as we're sitting here talking about this, and it sounds like we're talking about it in a negative light. Man, there's a fortune to be made if you have these takes all day, every day, for hours upon hours upon hours. I always am like, how does he manufacture the energy to talk about this thing that he cannot possibly give a shit about?
Yeah.
How can he manufacture the energy to do that? I mean, that is the most impressive part of all of this.
If Section 1904 5 years from now is not a massive success, it's almost entirely going to be due to the fact that, Darren, you and I are really bad at whoring ourselves out.
I know.
And just bullshitting takes. But we're going to try and make it entertaining anyway. Delivery, entertainment, rationality. You said 9s across the board. It's hard for me to disagree with that. I'll give this one a 9. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. And before even that, like Kyle was talking about, like the draft. He was like, yeah, the draft is totally trash. like it is one of the biggest, that is one of the biggest days of the NFL Network's calendar, or the 3 or 4 days or however many days it is that they dedicate to the draft or the combine, and all this sort of stuff. And he's like, yeah, there's no takes. Like, there's nothing there.
But even like back in the day when the draft was just on ESPN, everyone just got out of Mel Kiper's way. They're like, Mel Kiper spends all year being the expert on this. We're going to get out of his way. We're going to let him have the takes. And now it's like, it's on ESPN, it's on NFL Network. And not only is Mel Kiper and Todd McShay going to have takes, but everyone has to have takes. Everyone. The person who introduced welcome to the NFL, they need to have a take. And it's just, it's absurd. And that's how you turn people like Taylor Twellman into what Taylor Twellman now is. All right.
9s across the boards on Rate That Take. I like that. I mean, that was really good. I mean, I do appreciate it. It's like, yeah, like there's no, what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
And he is right. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Like, that is like, and like I spent years of my life saying that on radio.
We do that a lot on this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because it's not our job to be like, this is what's we're not experts, man. We're just people that are paying a lot of attention because you don't have the time to. All right,
but it is the attention economy, and what you're trying to do is get the attention. This is the Colin Cowherd line, which is, it doesn't matter if you're right. It's almost better to be wrong, because then they're going to show up the next day to hear you try to spin your way out of where you were so wrong about something.
That's a good point. Man, he must have a miserable time on social media. Colin Cowherd
doesn't give a shit.
I know. I wish I could. I wish I could not give a shit.
I know. I mean, it sucks like having to actually, feel a certain way about this industry. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And like feel like there should be an authenticity to it. It is like, it holds you back. I mean, I'm not bullshit. Like, it is like, it literally holds you back when the answer is, I don't know. Or, I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Like that does hold you back in this industry for a lot of people, but it doesn't mean you can't have a career. It just means you can't be at that level.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. If I could find the level I think that is comfortable for me, and you can build an audience around people that are comfortable with that, then I could be comfortable with it. I guess time will tell. Time will tell if in fact there is some sort of demand for this kind of concept,
Right.
But I think there is because these are the things that I gravitate towards in my life. I don't gravitate towards the take merchants. So, I gravitate towards the things that I find rational and entertaining and informative without being hyperbolic and ridiculous, unless it's just sort of, some silliness that's playing out about such and such a thing.
And that's fine. I don't mind the silliness. But
it's kind of what Section 1904 is. Like, we're not here to be take merchants, but
right. We're here to be authentic and honest and talk about the things that we talk about.
But I do like the takes, though. I mean, I will say I do find the entertainment in the rate to take. All right. Well, anyway, that was our
wait.
First
No, I got one more. I got my last.
Sorry, I
one.
forgot about that.
No, it's okay. And my last one has nothing to do with sports. It's not a professional take. It is just a guy on TikTok. This one may not be for you, Darren, but maybe you'll get something from it. This one helped me the other day because as a parent of a young child, it is very, very normal to just kind of be enraged at how much your child is just taking over your life when they're around, right? Asking for this, bugging you for that, play with me, whatever. And, it's your job to deal with that and not, let that out. But it can be really frustrating. And the other day I was very, very frustrated after doing a lot of parenting. And then I came across this and it made me feel a lot better. And so I'm interested on your take on it. And I have some takes as well.
I will be saying this on repeat until the day that I die. If your children will not get out of your butt, congratulations, you're an amazing parent. If your kids are constantly talking, asking questions, wanting to be around you, wanting to play with you, wanting to spend time with you, seeking you, it is because you are such a damn good parent. It is because you are a source of positivity and safety. So please, yes, absolutely feel frustrated. Be tired, be overstimulated. You deserve it. This world is chaos and kids are awful sometimes. But when you go to bed tonight, when they finally put themselves to sleep and they finally start getting some rest, I want you to smile as you remember every single moment they want to spend with you. Every question they ask you is the affirmation that they feel so safe with you. They feel so protected with you that they can just be themselves. We grew up having to mask and live by these guises so that we could just get through the day having to walk around everyone else's emotions. Whereas these little demons, they get to run around and do whatever the hell they want. And to a degree, I think that's really beautiful and really healthy. There's always a balance, of course, when it comes to kids, but what a blessing.
All right, Darren, do you have a take on that? I'm interested in your take as a non-parent.
As a non-parent, yeah. I mean, I think that they're, his delivery, solid. It's a classic TikTok video for people that are just listening. It's a guy sitting in his car.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like that's every TikTok video.
It is every TikTok video.
Maybe docked a point for originality in terms of settings since it's a visual platform. His rationality, I think, is good. I think to sum it up, it's, hey, it's better than the alternative.
Right.
Entertainment wise, I don't know that it's entertaining in the way of like a classic entertainment, like how we would think like, oh, that's really entertaining.
It's only,
but it's entertaining
because
he seems like he's so at peace. Like he seems like he's so satisfied.
That too.
That he is a parent that has this relationship with a child. So like there's entertainment in it in a way that I don't know you would classify as classic entertainment, but it is entertaining to see somebody who is, has a ton of clarity about what it is that he's saying.
Yeah, and it was entertaining for me just because I could relate to it in that moment when I saw it. I was literally frustrated with my daughter because she wouldn't leave me alone. Let's do this, let's do that. Can I have this? And I was like, ah! And then I saw that, and it was just like, she's doing that because she loves you. She's doing that because she wants to be around you. She's doing that because she feels the safety to do that. Whereas when I was growing up, if I was bothering my mother, I might get backhand across the face or whatever. And so that made me feel better as a parent. I know we have a lot of parents in the community because I see them chatting about their kids on our Discord sometimes. So I hope it means something to them. I agree with you. Delivery, 6. Entertainment, 6. Rationality, I think, was a strong 8 or 9. And that's going to have to carry the day on that take. So after all this, I think we agree that the Kyle Brandt one about preseason football not meaning anything and having to make up takes anyway because that's what the paycheck demands, that wins the day, which is funny for Rate That Take.
Yeah, the irony of Rate That Take is that it's actually shining a light on how stupid the takes are.
Yeah, and that sometimes the bad takes are actually the best ones, or at least the ones that get you paid the most.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I do think, as a parent, tell me if I'm wrong, because obviously this is not
Your forte,
right. But there has to come a point though where that level. I don't know that dependence is the right word, but you are going to encourage life beyond the parent-child.
oh, for sure.
Right. Like you don't want to do it at the expense of being, social and, learning how to interact with others and such and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't
No.
sound like he's saying that. He's just like, like it's at least there's a way to view this, even if in the moment you're like, I just want to watch television.
Right. Yeah. No, there was literally, it may have been the same day. The day I was trying to watch the first episode of the stupid Tom Brady docuseries, my daughter kept coming in. Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you play Barbies with me? Can you get me a snack? Can I have this? Is it okay if I go swimming in the pool? What are we doing with the dog? And I was just like, I'm trying to watch something. And, sometimes in those moments, you don't sit there and think like, wow, I wish I didn't have a kid. Like you don't do that, but you're just like, God, it was, when no one was home, this was so much easier. I could just do what I wanted. And you get frustrated with that. And then someone's like, hey, that's a reminder that your kid really loves you and you're doing a good job as a parent, making them feel safe. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. At least I get
a good
something
parent.
out
Listen,
of it. Yeah.
your kid's not running around the field at Petco Park.
Thank God.
I don't know. I mean, are those bad parents? I have no idea.
I'm
We'll end where we started.
I don't have enough information to be judging.
All right, we will be at Bottle Rocket tomorrow before the game. If you're going to pregame before Padres and Giants game number 4, we would love to see you. I know Eli would love to see you.
It's not an ad. We just love Eli and we love Bottle Rocket.
No, we paid. I mean, we paid last week. I even bought a shirt.
Nice.
Bought a Bottle Rocket shirt, man. I definitely want to have a keepsake. So
I
keep thinking too. I hope there's a way that somehow, some way, fortunes can change and we can be a tiny little part of a great story of Bottle Rocket
redemption
staying in some capacity. But
I was thinking the same thing. I'm trying to not put it out in the universe. I don't want to put any pressure on Eli and the guys, but yeah, anything we can do to help them, I want to help them because there's potential, I think, maybe for a happier ending here, and I'm definitely rooting for it.
Yeah, we'll be optimistic, but in the meanwhile, I will just enjoy it on Thursday and look forward to it. Look forward to anybody who's going to pop through there. We look forward to seeing you. Again, I'll be there probably just a little bit past 11. Not sure if we're going to go to the game or not, but we'll figure that out sometime in the next 24. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you for people who will participate in the conversation, whether it's via social media or whether it's via the Discord channel or whether it's just direct contact. We know a lot of you personally, and that's been a really, really cool thing. So appreciate that, and we'll do it again tomorrow.